Hi there, Joka here with a new video, and this one is a little bit special to me because it's actually my own collection with Spellbinders called Winter Tales. I hope you guys are gonna like it. So here are the products in this collection. There's 6. There is a stem set that you can see here. It's a bunch of simple sentiments, and then there is a few letters, larger letters that you can use to create either joy or peace, or if you're good at Scrabble, maybe you can come up with something else. Then there are 4 dies. This one here is called Nordic Ornaments, and there's 2 large ornaments that you can create, but there's a bunch of possibilities with those as well. I will show you some. Then there is this small floral die set called Enchanted Garden. And yeah, there's again a bunch of ways that you can use those flowers. Then there is the magical deer with all these lovely little flowers on the antlers, and I will show you different samples with those as well. And there is this small die set called Folk Song with the bird that has 2 different options for a headpiece. And then the last one is Ski Lodge. This is an embossing folder. It's a normal embossing folder, not a 3D one. And I want to show you first some samples that I created for the packaging and the catalog. These you will see, or you will notice that they don't have any sentiments because I did not have the stem set back then when I had to send in these projects. So I just took a photo without them anyway. And then the ladies at Spellbinders finished these projects for the packaging. And the first set was for me typical folklore colors. And that was the first set that I did in these colors this year. I actually mentioned this earlier. And then I did a more typical, but again, maybe not typical Christmas colors, but it's more typical than the first one. But many of these pieces you will be able to use all around the year. It's not just for Christmas. So I am going to show you 6 cards now that I created with another color combination here. And I had, just a second ago, you could see a whole lot of flowers left over from the projects that I created for the packaging. And I just took some of them to see what I did there. So it's, I didn't really have to think about how to layer anything, just follow those designs there. And some of these flowers have multiple layers, some of them don't, but you will see that you can find ways to add multiple colors to each of them. That was one of my main, how should I put this? So that was like a main thing that had to happen. I like to add many colors to my project, so I like to create dies where you can do that. So some of these will, you have to kind of mix and match them to create multiple colors. And with these kind of die cuts, I like to glue them onto a heavyweight cardstock and then glue every piece there, and then fussy cut them out, because I don't like to glue anything directly onto my card front, because I like to move things around until I find a design that I'm happy with, or I just like to try things, so I have to be able to move them around. So this is what I like to do with them. And sure, this takes some time. It wasn't that long, or I don't know, maybe in retrospect, maybe I just forget about it. I don't know, but I don't think this took ages. And they are simple shapes, so you can fussy cut them out easier. I know not everybody likes to fussy cut, but obviously you can also directly glue them onto your card front if you know what design you are going with. And so this way, in some of these, you can add 3-4 colors even. And so I just die cut all the flowers from, I think, 4 or 5 different colors, and then I'm just mixing and matching them. And sometimes I ended up with one where I only had like 2 colors left. Then I quickly die cut an extra, and just so that I could use more colors. But I think I only had to do this with a couple of flowers. So I'm just trying to show you each of the flowers, how they come together. Obviously, you don't have to add these mini tiny pieces. I know a lot of people can't even grab these. I also use my tweezers to help me, but I know not everybody has that ability. It just depends, but they look great without it as well. And even if you don't feel those little pieces, they just look like a piece of lace or something. So it doesn't have to be necessarily filled in. The only reason I did that because I like many colors in one flower, or any kind of die cut actually. And so you see here all of the different ones, how I put them together. Some I use a little bit of foam tape for, and then the others I'm just using liquid glue to layer the pieces on top of each other. And I like to do this. I like to create cards in a video that are all the same color scheme, because it's easier to work with and they look good together. It's not necessarily a set, but if I were to gift them, I could create like a card set. So today again I used the same colors, and of course I did not know how many flowers I will need. I just die cut a bunch of them, and then I made it my mission to use most, if not all of them, on today's project. So you will see flowers on a lot of things. And then for the stems or these leaves, I used 2 different greens. And these 2, for example, they are done in a way that you can layer them, but you can also use them separately. And all the stems are done in a way that they are all straight, because that's kind of the design I was going for. This, I think I did not mention, but I think it's obvious that it's a folklore kind of theme, this whole collection. And I like the straight stem designs. And then there's the embossing folder that was inspired by Nordic sweaters. I think it turned out so beautifully. I really probably will use it on all my Christmas cards. And what did I want? I wanted to say something with the embossing folder. Never mind. Oh no, I wanted to say that there's gonna be a blog post on my blog, and also it will be on the Spellbinders blog as well, but I think only on the 20th, if I'm not mistaken. That will explain each product in more details, what inspired me, or what ideas or tips I can give you with them. So I think normally I don't like to write anything special in blog posts, because I already do the video, but this one I actually did go into quite a bit of detail. So if you're interested, check it out. And back to the video. So I'm creating my first card in a landscape type of design. It's an A2 size card. And I'm just creating these straight stem and straight kind of design. And it's very, very simple. You can see that I'm trying to mix the two greens and the different designs on the stems, but they are kind of symmetrical. Not quite symmetrical, but you will see what I mean. It does have a method to it. Normally I prefer random things, but here I thought some kind of order would be better. And as you can see, it's very, very simple. Once you have all the die cuts, you can very quickly create cards with. So I think basically the time you spend on the die cuts is the only thing that takes a longer time. But I think you can also create with these sets, you can also create clean and simple cards with just one flower. It would still look very cute, but you know me, I like to cover all my empty or white, what do you call that? White spots, white, even if it's not white, you know, in the background. I just like to have some, a lot more color or at least texture, which is why I'm using embossing folders a lot. If I use just cardstock, not pattern paper. So moving on to the second one with the magical deer. Gluing down most of the pieces onto a second layer. You know, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I do this most of the time to create sturdy pieces that will hold up well in the mail, and also because you know I stack up my cards at home because I absolutely have no space, so they have to be sturdy to survive that. Yeah, so I'm just trying to you know, I don't really put a lot of thought into this. I just try to use a variety of colors on every piece, and you can see that there are all kinds of decorative details on most pieces. You don't have to fill those in. Some of them I didn't fill in either. On the original cards, I believe I filled even the smallest, tiniest little dots, but not on this one. And you know, sometimes I don't add an extra layer. You see that I die cut some of these pieces, but I did not use them. It just depends on how much dimension I want to add. Or for example, in this case, the head would be attached to that neck part. And if I add another layer, there will be 4 layers of paper under that head. So I would have to make that flush, which is what I'm going to do here with some extra foam tape, so that the two surfaces are flush, if that makes sense, the head and the body, because right now there's a difference in the layers of cardstock, of course. So yeah, what's next? Oh yeah, the feet. Oh God, what is it called? It was on my mind the other day, actually. What it's called? Hoofs, right? Hoofs. So I only put a small piece of foam tape behind that, not the whole leg, because they are kind of skinny, and I just can't cut such skinny foam tape, or you know, make sure that it doesn't turn or twist, if that makes sense. Sometimes when the foam tape is so skinny, it kind of loses its shape, so I try not to use that at all. And then I'm just building kind of like a floral frame around my deer. I tried to create different designs now than earlier, just so that you have more samples to look at. I am going to add all the photos of the earlier projects as well to my blog, and they are here in this video as well, so you can see them. But well, I hope it doesn't bother you that there's no sentiments. I would have just added some sentiment strips, except for one of them that has like an angled design. I would have stamped either the peace or the joy on it in either red or blue ink, or maybe embossed gold. Now onto the next card. This is going to be a slimline card, for which I only plan to use 2 of these ornaments. Now you can use just the ornament, like the outline ornament, and create all kinds of creative or wonderful designs. And I'm saying this, I did not think of it. I will be honest here, I did not even think of that until I saw my friend's Jana Smakula's cards that she showed me when I was on holiday. She was working on these projects then, and I gasped out loud. I honestly, her projects with this die is just amazing. I don't have words for it, and so you have to check them out. She inspired me to create something in this video with well, I will tell you later. But she actually mixed this ornament with some other dies that are not from my collection, but you will see what she created is just out of this world. And then the other day she showed me the other cards that she made with my collection, and they are just absolutely breathtaking. So please check her video, because she's gonna show you some amazing ideas. And also the color combinations that she used are just stunning. So please check them out. So I was gonna use only 2 ornaments for this card, but then as I went along, I changed my mind, and I think I'm gonna show you why. I'm trying to keep this simple. I did not fill in those little dots. I did that on a previous card, I think, but I did not want to add a lot of detail or multiple colors there, so I try to keep this as simple as possible. But I did layer some of those floral elements in the middle just to add a bit of something, layers and dimension. And then I also use some gold for the bottom piece here, like a partial flower or petals, and then of course for the hanger, I wanted to say hanger, but now I'm uncertain if that's what it's called, the metal piece on the ornament. So I wanted to use the large Peace and Joy stamp on this, and I thought the large slimline card size will be perfect for this. So this was actually my trial stamping, and this is what I wanted to use, this paper. This is the I don't know what it's called right now, it's gonna come to me, but it's the ivory color from Spellbinders, but it does not stamp well. The cardstock is not smooth, it has a bit of a texture, so it's not really nice. I mean, I would have gone with it. It looks a bit distressed, but I would have gone with it, but you will see why I will not end up doing that. So I'm stamping the E here. It's not perfect, it's not lined up perfectly, but it's good enough. And now that's what I did, you see. And this was actually hours after I stamped the first letters, so it just did not dry. The ink did not dry, and I completely smudged it, so I did not save it. I wanted I thought I can save it. I could put the ornaments there, but then I noticed that between the A and the C, there's also smudges, so I just didn't. I could probably fussy cut those letters and then use them for something else, but I went with the white one. This is Nina Solar White, and I never had a problem with that paper. It stamps wonderfully. And now I am layering the ampersand in between, and I'm going to gold emboss that. And you can also, you have all these tiny details with these letters that you can stamp in the little hearts and the flowers. You can stamp in different colors. I'm gonna show you in a second. So again, another way to add color to these. So I wanted to use a bunch of different colors. It's not gonna be easy to tell the same colors that I used in my die cut. So it's kind of like coral colors, and this is all these inks are from Altenew, and I did not line up everything perfectly, but it doesn't bother me. And so you can see that that's a lot of white. I mean, for a lot of people, that's not a lot of white, but for me, that's a lot of white space is what the word I was looking for earlier. It's white space. So I decided to try to cover it as much as I can. So I created a bunch of other ornaments with the same colors. Some of them, like this green one here, I did not even bother filling in all the pieces because I knew that I was gonna only use that part of it. And later I will also use the bottom part of it, but I will just not need the middle. So I did not bother adding the flower, if that makes sense. But sometimes I don't know in advance what I want to do, and then I just, I create the full not project, but the full die cut. I fill in everything, and then I cut it apart, and then some parts I will not even use. That is a waste of time for sure, but sometimes it happens. But in this case, I kind of thought ahead as an exception. So I'm adding foam tape to some of them just to have a variety of, or a bit of a variation in the dimension. And then I'm trimming off the excess, and then keep trying where I should place what. And when I start doing this, I keep adding more and more, and then I just don't know where to stop. I don't know when it's enough. I don't know when it's too much or too little. But it feels to me like it's like a background pattern, this ornament pattern, or I don't know if that makes any sense. So this big piece I will use at the top, and then because I actually created this ornament, the flower in the middle, I wanted that to show, so I try to place that as far up as possible. So yeah, and then I'm going to try to fill those spaces. And sometimes, when you cut something apart, then another part of it you can use somewhere else. So sometimes you don't actually need a lot of things. Here I had to die cut those two pieces because they were visible, but guess what? Just check that. That mini tiny part that was visible. And then it was still too much white, so I added a bunch of enamel dots. And then this card is ready, and I'm going to move on to the next one, which will also be a slimline card, but this one is going to be the other orientation, so portrait. And I'm using the beautiful Ski Lodge embossing folder again, and this is where Jana inspired me. So she created floral ornaments, but not with this die set, but with a recently released Christmas floral die set. And that gave me the idea that I could also fill this with the folklore flowers, or the ones from this collection, and create well, you will see the shape of the ornament that I'm creating. It's something that we always had on our Christmas tree when I was a kid, and in fact I still have this shape ornament. So it will be a little bit weird because of the bottom of this one. I could have rounded it, if that makes sense, but you will see, maybe you will understand what I mean in a second. So I'm trying to figure out how I can add the most flowers, because I do need some colors there, although I do like the two greens together. And yeah, I'm trying to figure out which flower would work best. And at this point, of course, I don't have so many options left for flowers because I already used quite a few, but I did not want to die cut more. I made it my mission to use the ones that I already had. And as you see, I am using some liquid glue, and sometimes I will need foam tape, I think here on the last one. And then I'm trimming off the edges. And then I couldn't decide which flower to put there. One of them was the perfect shape, but then I didn't like it that much as this one. So I'm just gonna trim off the little one petal. So this is the other ornament in this set, right? And I'm going to add it under the other one. And do you know this shape of ornament? Only the top one should be round, I think. But other than that, I have this shape and always had it. So I kind of felt like this was a good way to use the set. So I added a thin layer of foam tape to the top one first, because again, I had to make that surface flush. And now I'm adding a thicker foam tape to the whole ornament. And I don't know, it was difficult to figure out if I should add flowers to the bottom one as well, or just the leaves. And it just seemed to me that it was too busy. So in the end, I decided that I'm gonna just leave that and just add one little flower that I will add in a bit. And then I added some twine at the top so that it looks like it's hanging. And then I will add this one flower here at the bottom of that ornament. And then I will set it aside, and all of the cards are going to get sentiments at the end. So the little bird, it has two different options for whatever you call that headpiece. One is more like a bit funkier, so you can create different styles with this. And then also for the tail feathers and the wings, they are the same shape but two designs, so you can mix and match. You could use just the floral one or this other one that looks a bit like a peacock feather. And I even tried, not now, but excuse me, but when I first worked with the set, if I could build some flower with that shape, because they look like petals. You can, but they are going to be quite large. But so you just play around with shapes like this, because you might end up with something really cool and creative. So I'm adding some flowers to the corners of the card. And again, I used the embossing folder, and you can see that I use that embossing folder on several sizes. This is A2. I used it on the slimline card. I really love these new size embossing folders from Spellbinders, because you can really emboss all your card sizes with them. And now I'm building together my bird. It's really not hard, and you can see as well this one has small details that you can either fill or not. It looks great either way. The only reason, again, I'm filling those parts because I like to add more color. Or you could just add color paper under it. That's also an option, like you would back a cut file, for example. So I was wondering if I should add that, oh God, branch in its beak, but then I decided against it because of the flowers in the corner. Somehow it just didn't look right. So next card, I really wanted to use the stamp set because I did not use it before. And my idea here was to stamp peace multiple times, and then in kind of like an ombre order with the same colors that I use throughout the video. And I'm trying to figure out the spacing here. I created these penciled guidelines. I just created 5 even sections, and then I'm trying to space them out well, but trying to use all kinds of guides and markings here. I'm sure there's a logic to this, I'm sure that you can probably do this easier than I did. You see, I'm just marking and moving the paper so that I don't have to move the stamp set, so that they are the same. But surely there's a better way to do this. I don't know. I'm always working with workarounds. I get to the same results as others, but the road there is always the most complicated, I'm sure. So please don't follow my tutorial here, but the end result is going to be the same. So that was basically the idea behind this, that I don't have to move the stamp, because actually the first 4 letters I lined up quite all right. The 5th, that was not so successful, but I think when you look at the whole background, it looks okay, and also it's like a handmade thing, so it's all right that it's not perfect. And then I'm cutting thin strips of paper in matching colors, so I'm going to add those in between, because again, this is going to be pretty much a 1-layer card, and I just like to add a little bit of something to it. And then the other thing that I did, I trimmed down that panel a little bit so that I can add some foam sheet behind it, and then add it to the A2 card base, but then I'm gonna have a little bit of frame around it, just so, again, because it's a 1-layer card, dimension is everything. If you don't have layers, then at least a little bit of dimension. And I really need to, I know a lot of you always ask me about this foam sheet set, and I just don't know where I bought it. I know I bought it in Germany, but I have no idea where, and I don't find it. So I I don't have more than this. I really need to Google and investigate where I can find them. And so now I'm just going to kind of, I'm lazy. With sentiments, I'm always lazy. So I am creating several sentiments at the same time. I'm just embossing these. And for some reason, I messed up the bottom ones. They don't look embossed. I don't know, maybe I overheated them. But they are gold. They look like gold stamped, so I'm just going to use them anyway. And then I pulled out this favorite set of mine. It works with so many Spellbinders, or any other brand actually, these simple sentiment strips. And because I cannot cut a straight line to save my life, I really appreciate these dies. So again, like always, everything is going to be linked in the description box. And so I'm layering together a bunch of well, layers of paper to make these sentiments sturdy, because I'm probably going to be using foam tape, but even if not, it gives it a little bit of dimension, and I'm trying to figure out where best to put the sentiments. And then all of these cards are going to be ready. So I just want to take this moment to thank Spellbinders for this wonderful opportunity, and I loved every moment of designing or working on this collection with them. So thank you everyone who was a part of this. I really appreciate it. I love how it turned out. I hope you guys love these products as well. I hope you are as excited as I am, although I am also super nervous. But let me know in the comments what you think. I'm happy to hear. I'm happy to help if you have any questions. I think that was it. And I have another video for today. Check that out as well. It's with the Holiday Cheer Enclosed collection. It's super cute. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.